example of how the infectious droplets get circulated through the air conditioning. Whether you cough, breathe, sneeze, it gets suspended in the air, drawn up through the ventilation system, then passed into a different area. That's how it can spread through an office building. That's how it can spread through a hospital. That's how it can spread through a cruise ship. So by putting our very high output ultraviolet light on the downstream side of the cooling coil, as the virus comes through, it gets inactivated, and so we have pure air going back to the person. I've got a couple of examples, and then we'll look at the different products. Cairns Regional Council. This is a large council in North Queensland in Australia. They achieved a 30% energy saving by putting it in their head office and council chambers. 30% they achieved. Initially, they achieved a 20%. Then they found they were able to raise their chill water from 5.5 degrees supply to 7 degrees in the middle of summer. And Cairns is in the tropics, so it's hot and humid. But they were able to have a 7-degree supply temperature and still achieve the same space conditions once the Steril Aire had removed all the biofilms on the coils. But not only that, they were able to record their lowest absenteeism rate since they occupied the building 20 years ago. And this was in the highest flu season that had been recorded by Queensland Health. So they reduced their absenteeism in the flu season from as high as 20% down to 3% by removing airborne flu. This is an example of a government trial that was done in Canberra, and they did all their own recording, 2 buildings side by side. One they put Steril Aire in, the other they didn't, put it on all the air handlers, and they measured 11% power reduction on the building with Steril Aire. And this should be noted that this is in Canberra, which is Canberra is probably the coldest place in Australia in winter, and it has the lowest humidity. Its humidity is typically on average about 30% humidity. So it was a very important trial to show that we could still get energy savings in an area where very low humidity and a short cooling season, and we were still able to get those results. In the tropics, always get return on investments between 6 months and 12 months. This is an example of a hospital engineering department that submitted and achieved an award for improving patient care by installing Steril Aire in all the air conditioning systems. The hospital also noted a reduction in staff absenteeism once it had been installed. This is the largest study ever done on UVC products, and it was done by the US Homeland Security and EPA in a testing laboratory where they released viruses and bacteria into ductwork to see how efficient the UV products were at removing these pathogens. And Steril Aire came out to be about 6 times more effective than all the competition. So that study is on their website and it's available. The full documentation we can provide it to you, but it's been the biggest and most expensive test ever done on UVC. This is another example from the rapid testing laboratories in the state done by Dr. Robert Sear, and he tested UVC products under air conditioning conditions of 2.5 meters a second and 10 degrees Celsius. He measured the output at 1 meter, and he found Steril Aire's output day one was up here over 9 microwatts per inch of glass, whereas the nearest competition was less than 2 microwatts in those conditions. But it also showed that Steril Aire, after 18,000 hours of operation, 2 years, that the output was still more than double the competition when their lamps were new. This is an example of how we remove biofilm. So no manual cleaning done. This was what the coil looked like previously, and this is what it looked like about 60 days later. Or actually, no, it's a bit longer. It's about 90, 100 days later. But there was no manual cleaning done on that, and that coil now stays perpetually clean. Also gained 40 kilowatts of cooling capacity and 6% increase in airflow over that period. There's more examples of cleaning up inside the air conditioning chambers, cleaning up the fans, all the sealants inside the plenums, and that's the coil before and after as well. No manual cleaning done, it's just the UVC. And here's another example. This was a unit budgeted to be replaced back in 2012, and we put the Steril Aire on it, and we restored the cooling capacity to within 3% of its design, and that system is still working today. This is just a quick example of an airport trial that was done, and these are the improvements within the various air handlers at that airport. So on average, 23% increase, or should I say 23% reduction in coil pressure drops, 24.9% average in improvement in heat transfer, and a 10.4% average improvement in airflow from all the air handlers that were done in that airport, with an average cooling capacity gain of about 38 kilowatts. These are the microbial plates that were taken before and after on the surfaces of the coil. And as you can see, there's basically 100% reduction in microbial growth on those coils. Just some more examples of some of the studies we've done in some of the biggest facilities in Australia. The MCG is one of the biggest arenas in the world. It can hold about 110,000 people. It has over 400 air handling units, and we've installed in many there at the moment, and each year we get to do more. And this was all done on extensive studies initially. We have Crown Casino here. This is Melbourne's largest employer, and we've done multiple air handlers and cool rooms for Crown Casino. And also Melbourne Airport, which is Australia's largest airport. We've done 3 terminals at that airport so far, all with excellent results. So the products. So we'll go through the products bit by bit. So at the moment, these are the single-ended kits for ducted splits. Could be rooftop package units or small air handling units. So on the left, we have the standard fixture called the RSE, and on the right, we have the SEN, which is a NEMA 4X IP67 waterproof version for outdoor use. This is an example of a fan coil unit with the RSE fixture installed. Basically, you drill one hole, 20mm hole, mount the fixture on the side, slip the lamp through, hook up the power, and it's done. It's a 15-minute installation. Very easy to do. And this is what it looks like inside the fan coil units with the fixture mounted on the outside. Very simple, self-supporting, up to 1 meter long. It self-supports, and very easy installation. There's some more examples. There's the lamp there, and again, there's the lamp close up there, just in front of the distributor tubes. Now for larger units, so for bigger, larger kilowatt fan coil units, we have a 1270mm lamp and a 1575mm lamp, so almost 1.6 meters. And we can do the same from one end of the unit, which makes it easy because it's sometimes very difficult to get to the other end. So we can do it with this fixture that has a self-supporting arm on it. So it allows you to just, again, mount from one end, drill in one hole, and the lamp gets supported by this extension arm. And again, that is available in a NEMA 4X IP67 waterproof version as well. high wall splits. We have kits for high wall mini splits. This is an example on display where we've cut half of the coil away, just so that you can see how the lamp goes through. So the lamp is supported from this one end. It's always from the left-hand end. So you have all your electrics and your motors at this end. So we install it from this end. And this is just an example on how we do it. Drill a hole. We use an insert lamp holder, and then we just slide the lamp in, lock it in place, and we have a very small power supply that can tuck in. Typically, it can tuck in behind here, or it could go on a box on the side, or it could be buried in the wall, or it could be in the ceiling. But quite often, where behind the high wall split, there is a where the pipes go out. There's a space that you can put it in there. We also have the same kits that we can use for cassette units, and usually we use 2 for a cassette unit. That's a close-up view. This one, in fact, has got 3, but with our trials, we've been working out that we can do it with 2 kits in a cassette unit, and we can clean all 4 sides of the coil with 2 lamps. This is an under-ceiling cassette unit in a COVID-19 testing station, and again, we've used a kit where we've mounted it from this one end, and it goes right through the unit, and we do have a clip on the other end, but again, it's a simple installation. It's only a question of dropping down the drain. You can install it. There's the power supply that's mounted there, and here's the same for cool rooms. So we do lots of cool rooms, whether they're fresh produce, whether they're for abattoirs, or whether they're for hospitals. They could be for morgues. Again, it's a simple installation. We use a shroud that we mount on the back of the evaporator, and there's the lamp is inserted into that, and it penetrates through the coil and keeps it all clean and treats the air. So if it's fresh produce, it will remove ethylene from there, but it will remove bacteria, so we can extend the shelf life of fresh produce. We also have special lamps, which are a different wavelength to the 253.7 that we use for breaking down grease and oil in kitchen exhausts. And so that will react with the grease as it travels down the duct, and it converts the grease into CO2, a very small amount of calcium powder, and a bit of CO2, which gets evaporated in the heat. We have devices for monitoring. So on large air handlers, we can put a watchdog monitor that will monitor if any of the lamps fail or if someone forgets to turn them off. And this is BMS connectable, so you can connect it and provide signals to your BMS system. We'll go, just pop back to the power supply. Let's find a power supply so I can just cover this. Power supply. That one there. So the power supplies. The power supplies have a lifetime warranty. They are fully programmed start electronic ballast, and they have end of lamp life circuit protection, so they'll shut down and before they create any damage to itself or to the lamp. If the lamp is not replaced, it will shut down. But yes, they are the only ones on the market that have a lifetime warranty. So Steril Aire saves in 4 ways. No more toxic, costly, ineffective chemical cleaning. Reduces the liability from illness caused by HVAC bred or circulated transmitted microbes. The air handlers or the air conditioning units or the fan coil units or the package units will run more efficiently and last longer, and typical savings of 15 to 30% on energy bills are achieved. So we address a host of HVAC issues with a single solution. There is no other product that has so many benefits for the HVAC industry. And any questions?
All right. So thank you, Malcolm. I mean, please, Wilson, Christina, if you have any questions or thoughts to discuss, it's good to ask questions, and we can understand where you're following the presentation as well.
Yes, Johannes, thank you. Malcolm, that was a great presentation. You got me to my mask again.
Good.
So it's very convincing. And I have a few questions now. Could you elaborate more on the effects of cold air, as you were saying, that our bulbs are more effective on cold air than others because?
Okay, good question. So yes, so I'll go back to Steril Aire is run by a doctor of microbiology. His name is Dr. Robert Scher. He was working for the US government. He worked for NASA in space biology, and he worked in biological warfare for the US government. He became interested in the causes and spread of Legionnaire's disease. And so he started researching it, and he traced it to the air conditioning system. He then looked at solutions, and he started testing UVC in a laboratory. And it worked successfully at inactivating the microbes. He then applied it to air conditioning systems, but to his embarrassment, it didn't work. And what he found was when you introduce conventional UVC lights into cold and moving air, their output drops. The reason their output drops is because they can't maintain the photon production. They can't maintain the gas temperatures. So the lamps cool and the output drops significantly. So he then spent 10 years, and it took him 10 years with some engineers to develop a UVC product that would work in cold moving air. And how he's done it, unfortunately, is a secret. But what I can tell you is that how we get this high output is in the lamp, it is the pure quartz glass that we use. We use the purest of quartz glass, which is only found in one place on this planet, which I believe is somewhere in Hungary, but no one will confirm that. But I think that's where it comes from. So the higher the quartz glass you use, the more UVC output you can get from it. It's also to do with the blend of gases within the lamp, and it's also to do with the electrodes. So the electrodes are made of precious metals, and it's the quality and the design of these metals that also produce the high output. So that's one part of it. The other part, and it's because I said right at the start, this is a system engineered product. The lamp and the power supply are system engineered to produce that high output. So the electronic ballast is designed to maximize photon production. It is a program start ballast with software in it, and it can detect the difference in the temperatures of the gases in the lamp. So it modulates to maximize the photon production. And what I've seen, and I can put my hand on my heart and tell you this, is I've tested this for the last 15 years or so, and I measure the output of it, and I can see with our product, when I put it into a duct or into an air conditioning system and introduce airflow, our output goes up. It will double. If I introduce 2 meters a second airflow to our lamp, the output will double, and you can witness it by using a radiometer. Whereas any other product, the output diminishes. So they've done secrets within it that I can't tell you because I don't know. The power supply is encapsulated in a special resin so that people cannot copy it. And that resin, if you try and remove the resin, if you try and heat the resin off, it actually cracks and goes hard and it breaks the components. So Philips, who are the largest UVC manufacturer in the world, have been trying to reverse engineer Steril Aire for the last 16 years. And they cannot do it. They've tried and they cannot do it. So there's a lot of secrets within the recipe of the lamp and the power supply that has not been able to be copied. And really, that's all I can tell you. But the output goes up when you introduce the air to it, and conventional UVC, it diminishes. So
Okay.
unfortunately, that's all I can tell you.
It's okay. It's okay. But that's already very helpful. Um, for so I just noticed, no, we install all our lamps horizontally. Is that the best position?
That is the best way to penetrate into the fins. So,
Okay.
yes, so by having them longitudinal like that, then it will penetrate right through the fins all the way along the coil. If you had the lamp up the other way, then it's only going to reach a certain amount of the fins, and the angle of the fins is going to prevent it from penetrating deep into the coil. So this is the most efficient way of doing it, yes.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the power supply has a lifetime guarantee on it. What about the service life of the bulbs? How long are the service life?
18,000 hours. So we guarantee it
Eight-
for 18,000 hours. You get an 18,000 hour
18,000.
warranty on it. Yeah.
Which is about 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years. So the lamp will continue to work after that point, but that's what we guarantee it for.
Okay. And then uh, I saw the products that you came out with, the split units, and it was a very ingenious way of putting it, because the competition here, which is the brand UV Care, they put it in such a way that the air is blocked, and the cold air coming out from the split units is diminished.
Yes.
If you put it inside the middle of the coil, it doesn't bother the the air coming out.
Yes, and it cleans all the coil surfaces and it cleans the blower wheel as well. So
Yeah.
it does everything. So it cleans the coil, cleans the blower wheel, and it cleans the air.
Yes.
So you get really
Malcolm,
good results.
are you familiar with the UV Care brand?
Yes, yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay. Would you happen to know how many years are they in existence? If Steril Aire is 25 years.
I don't. I just know, and we've tested them, and they're a very low output product.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. One last question. How did you measure the irradiation? How did you measure the one on the coil? Did you use a thermograph to check on the coil to know what tool did you use?
I use a certified radiometer.
A radiometer. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that gives me my output on the coil if I'm commissioning. Yes.
Yeah. So far, the presentation has answered a lot of my questions. It's only this that I wanted some clearing. As I've said, it was a very convincing presentation, and you got me to use my mask again. Yeah.
Wilson, sorry,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, Wilson.
Go ahead, Johannes.
When you start sort of like later stage installing some units,
Yes.
I think I would recommend to get one of the radiometer, which I also getting one after recommended by Malcolm. And
Yeah.
radiometer is good, and as well as the air quality tester as well. Sort of like
Yes.
it's not expensive, but I'm sure you have it as well.
Yeah, those tools are very much needed to validate
Yeah.
our claims to the customer, and I'm sure we need to get them. For the software, is it also possible that we get a software for the measurement of the bulbs that we use for the AHUs?
I would think so. If you sign an agreement with Johannes, then yes, eventually, yes, we'll be able to provide you with the software. Yeah.
Okay. I think uh, I think that's all for now for me. Christina, do you have any questions?
Like for the split units and the like cassette units and then the under ceiling cassette types, how safe is it? Like, will the people get exposed with the UV
Uh,
light?
it's safe. What you can see is you can see a bit of a blue glow.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
blue
saw that in the
glow
picture.
is that's the argon gas in the lamp. So UVC is invisible, but you have to have it. It has to be line of sight. So you cannot see the lamp. If in a high wall split, you can look as hard as you can, but you cannot see the lamp. So there's no danger there. And the same with the under ceiling cassettes as well. You can see a blue glow, but there's no actual UVC exposure to you.
Okay, that's good. No, I was just curious with the blue light, so I thought that was like the lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue uh, light is there as a safety precaution. So the argon gas was put in there to just because otherwise you wouldn't know whether the lamp was on or not.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. I think Malcolm, thank you very much for the presentation. Johannes, I think we're good with the questions, and personally, I'm quite convinced with Steril Aire because I also read a bit about the history of the doctor Robert, and he started with water sanitation. I think it was water, and it evolved into this UVC lamp. This is a very good product.